Hey boys and girls, so today we're going to take a look at what odd and even numbers are. To start, I'm going to be doing some apples here because I love doing apples. They're fun and easy. Boing, boing, boing. Okay, so I have here 6 apples, which look a little bit like cherries, right? So when you draw a 6 and make it into a picture, right? 6, this is a representation of 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If you had 2 friends who were really hungry, right, you could give each one of these friends exactly 3 apples. So both friends would be happy, equally happy, because you were able to divide this by 2, right? Perfectly even. That is what an even number is all about. An even number is when you are able to divide a number exactly by 2 and everybody is happy in the end. Now let's take a look at another number. I'm going to this time draw some bananas here. So if I have 1, 2, they look like moons. I'm sorry. Let's add some stems to these little bananas. 3. So 3 bananas. I have 3 bananas and I have my 2 little friends here, right? So I have 3 bananas to divide by 2. What happens to these bananas? Oh, my goodness, I just moved myself. Okay, so what happens to these bananas if I divide them by 2? Let's take a look. If I divide these bananas by 2, right, one of my friends will get 2 bananas, and the other one, so 3, one of my friends will get 2 bananas here, and the other one will get 1. So this is what's going to happen. This one here is going to be super happy, and this one here, not so much. So here we have an even number. An even number is a number that you can divide perfectly by 2, and both sides will have exactly the same amount of whatever it is that you're dividing. So let's say a 10. A 10. Is a 10 an even number? Let's test it out. Okay, I'm going to delete these here, erase this. You can do this test with anything. So we saw 6 is an even number. I'm actually going to start making a little list here. How about that? Make a little list. So even, right? A 6 is even. Odd. A 3 is odd, right? So 10. Let's say I have 10 little cotton balls. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so I have 10 little cotton balls, and if I put a line in between them, right, just kind of put a line right here to divide them into, I find that I can divide them in 2, and each one of these sides will get an equal number of cotton balls, or little clouds, or sheep without feet, sleeping backwards. So a 10 is also an even number, so we can add 10 here to our even numbers. How about 16? Let's take a look at 16 and see if it's an even number. Because there is actually a little bit of a pattern on odds and even numbers. Because imagine if you had to figure out, if I tell you a number that 123 or 57. Imagine if you had to draw 57 dots to figure out if 57 is odd and even. That would take you forever, right? So I'm going to show you a trick that is really nice, and you can use whenever you want to figure out if a number is odd or even. Okay, you're with me? You with me? Awesome. So let's take a look. I'm going to erase the stem here. Take a look at 16. 16. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So 16 can be divided by 2 equally, and each side will give us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Each side will give us 8. So 8 on one side, 8 on the other side. 8 plus 8 is 16. Great. Now, what have you noticed? On our list here, if I had a 16, our list already had a 6, and the 16 ends with a 6. So both 6 and 16 on their units, on their ones house, have a 6. So here's a ones, here's my tens, and right, and so on and so forth. So on my ones, right, both 6 and 16 have a 6. So what if I said 76 here? Do we have to do this? Do we have to go through and figure out if 76 will, be divisible by 2 by drawing every single point and getting lost because there's so many little points you're going to probably lose track? No, because we now have kind of figured out a rule that when an even number is on my ones house, right? If your even number is on the ones house, then your number will be even, no matter how big it is. Like 1,200,064, it ends in a 4, and a 4, is that an odd or an even number? Let's see, can I divide 4 apples equally by my 2 little friends? Boom, 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 boom. Yes, each friend will get 2 apples. 2 plus 2 equals 4. So just figure out another even number here, 4. So let's do this. I'm just going to clear my screen and I'll be right back. So what do we have here? So far, we have the even numbers, right? Even. I saw that one number ending in 0 was an even number, which means that all numbers that end in 0 would be even. So how about 2? 2 is the perfect even number. That is the number that is divisible by 2. If I have 2 apples, I'll give 1 to each friend. Perfect. We tested 4. 4 is perfect. We tested 6 twice. And so if I add 2 to 6, what do I have? 6, 7, 8. There we go. So, and then if I add 2 to 8, 9, 10. Oh, we are back to 0. So basically, these 5 numbers, if a number ends in these 5 numbers, they will always be even, okay? And how about the odd numbers? Well, odd numbers are the ones that don't end in 0, 2, 4, 6, and 8. Odd numbers are the ones that are going to have that little guy left over, right? So, so 3 is an odd number, and so is 1, right? So whatever is in between here, odd, odd. What's in between 4 and 6? 5. 5 is an odd number. We actually, if we look here, 5, we actually can see this really easy because see how you make a little house out of 5? That little point there, that's your sad odd number, right? So that's odd. In between here, between 6 and 8, you have 7. And in between 8 and 10, we have 9. So here are your odd numbers. All the numbers that end, that their last digit is 1, 3, 5, 7, or 9 will be odd. And every one that ends in 0, 2, 4, 6, or 8 will be even. So what if I write down, let's say, 39? Do you have to count and draw and figure it out? No. What you're going to do is you're going to look, what is on my ones house? What is on my units house? My unit, my ones, tells me that there are 9 units plus 3 tens, right? 3 groups of 10. So these 9 units are my units that actually I'm going to be looking at. Why is that? Why? That's a good question. Why do we look at the last digit only? So again, why do we take a look at only the last digit? Because here, this 3 here is on my tens house. And as we know, it means that I have 3 groups of 10. So each one of these groups of 10 are already perfectly paired. So I know that those are perfectly paired. I don't need to look at them. Just like for you to figure out if, let's say 7, if a 7 is an even or an odd, it doesn't matter how many, or a 9. It doesn't matter how many little pairs of dots are before this one even. You could have 400 pairs of dots, but if you have one uneven little guy, right, one little odd guy, that will make that whole number an odd number. So even if you only have one odd, that's all it takes, right? You just need one little odd guy to make the number odd. So even if I have a really long number, if I have a really long number, but the last number is an odd number, right? That means really what you're looking at is a very long sequence of pairs. Very long, that we're not even going to do all of them. So it's such a long sequence of pairs that it just goes through. But with one number, one unit that is alone. Okay, so how does this actually work? If you have, no matter how many, so this is kind of coming from way, like imagine this long line of pairs. It doesn't matter how many pairs you have, okay? You have tons and tons of pairs, and this number is perfectly fine. And then the last pair is incomplete. So that is why it doesn't matter how long the number is. If it ends in an odd number, that means that there is one pair that is incomplete, one pair that is not perfect, that is not even. So that would make an odd number, right? This little guy here controls the whole outcome, okay? So another interesting thing that I really like is when you look at adding odd and even numbers together and what happens, okay? So for instance, here I have an odd number, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? And here I have an even number, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I have 4. So the resulting number, odd plus even, what do you think it's going to be? So odd plus even will actually be odd. Now why is that? Because we're going to get these pairs that have already been finished, right? The pairs that we can see from the 7. And then there are the pairs from the 4, okay? But then there's that little guy, the little lonely guy, which has no pair on the even. There is no, it was not transformed into an even number because there is no pair for him. So 7 plus 4 is 11, and 11 is uneven, right? Because it ends in 1. So odd plus even is odd. Okay? Now what if it was even plus even? Let's try that. Even plus, let's say 4 again. Even plus even. What we have here is the 2 from here, right, from this one, and the 4 from here, from this one. We have 6, which is even. That means that the pairs that you had in one plus the pairs that you had not, nothing really happened. They didn't, interact or anything, and they continue being an even. So an even number plus an even number equals an even number. Okay? And finally, let's take a look at what happens if I have an odd number. For instance, I have a 5. odd. So I have another odd number here, okay? So 7. Odd and odd, okay? So what do you think happens if it's an odd plus an odd? So we have our pairs from the first odd number. Our pairs from the 5 are here. And we have our pairs from the second odd number, which are here. And then we have one extra from the first number and one extra from the second number. We just transformed the two odd numbers into an even number. And what number is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12. So 5 plus 7, two uneven, two odd numbers, right? Transform into an even number. So odd plus odd equals even. So that's really important to remember, okay? And here's the explanation for it. So an odd plus an even will equal an even plus an even will equal an even, and an odd plus an odd will transform into an even number, okay? So this is the end of the video, and we saw that odd numbers are numbers that end in 1, 3, 5, 7, or 9, and evens end in 0, 2, 4, 6, or 8. So I'm going to let you go now, and we're going to be looking at some examples and doing some exercises tomorrow. One interesting thing, okay, if I tell you a number, will you be able to tell me if the sum of this number will end in an odd and an even? For instance, if I tell you 13 plus 17, I'm not writing it down, 13 plus 17, what's the result? Is it an even or is it an odd? I'll see you guys tomorrow.